My face here is really wonky. It looks like his shoulder is kind of just like melting into his arm though. What was I thinking? I draw feet all the time now. What's up guys? Now I asked you all what my next video should be, and it seems like you guys really like to see me suffer, because today I'm going to be taking a look at my old digital art. Now for any of you wondering what drawing software I use, I personally use Procreate. But when I was new to digital art, I use a program called Autodesk Sketchbook, and that's where most of the drawings in this video are going to be from today. Now, the first drawing we have today is this Spider-Man Miles Morales drawing. Now, this was the first digital art piece I've ever done, and I gotta say, it's actually not too bad for my first digital art. Now, you can definitely tell I was really new to kind of how layers work and how the shading and lighting goes. But overall, I feel like it's not too bad. Now, one thing I will say about this is that the lines do look pretty shaky. I've seen artists use a sort of drawing glove that I now have. I didn't have this yet when I did this first drawing, so the lines look a little shaky. But no, overall, this isn't bad. I think I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. All right, so not too bad. Let's see what our next piece is. Oh shoot. It's Among Us. All right, so I guess I made multiple of these Among Us drawings. I was mainly doing this for a TikTok series. It was on my old TikTok. You won't see it on my TikTok account now. Maybe you could still find this though. But I guess I was doing these superheroes as Among Us little characters. I thought it was a fun idea at the time, at least. You could still see that my lines were really shaky. I mean, when you zoom out, you don't really notice it as much. But it's something I noticed because I'm such a pro now. But yeah, it looks like we got Superman, we got Batman. I actually kind of like this Batman one. Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wonder Woman, Captain America. So yeah, I actually feel like these are kind of fun. I guess as a collective, I will give these let's give these a 5 out of 10 as well. I feel like the idea is pretty fun. But yeah, on to our next one. Now, the next drawing we have is Luke Skywalker here. His face looks a little uncanny. Again, the lines look pretty shaky, but actually overall, this isn't too bad. Now, my drawing skills were definitely getting a bit better since the sketchbooks you've seen in my previous videos. But yeah, the proportions still are off. His hands are giant, his feet are really giant. I think the background is sort of cool though. It has a nice little gradient to it. I also kind of like the way I drew his lightsaber. I feel like that's kind of neat. But this isn't too bad either. I think I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. All right, now the next drawing is me. Now I did this self-portrait when I was a freshman in high school. Sorry if you're a freshman. Life gets better. My face here is really wonky. I kind of like the way I drew my hair in this. I kind of still draw my hair like that, although this kind of looks like a block. It doesn't really have any strands at all. I have absolutely no forehead space here. It looks like it just shrunk my forehead down. I think the pose is pretty cool, kind of just standing there, but my feet look like they are absolutely massive, like they're made out of Duplo or something. But overall, as a whole piece, I think it kind of works. Again, I like the gradient and the background I used. This, I think I'm gonna give a 6 out of 10. Now, the next drawing I have is a mascot that I drew for my school. My school didn't actually use this. I just thought it was a pretty fun idea. I think the colors look pretty good. The orange and blue definitely contrast each other. Now, let's try something here, actually. I want to flip the canvas, because something you do in art to kind of check how you're doing is you flip the canvas, and so that way you see you're drawing in a new way. It's really helpful, but it's also very humbling. How do I do this? I haven't used Autodesk Sketchbook in years, so I just don't know how to work this program. Oh. I flipped the canvas and it definitely looks a lot more wonky. But no, it's usually good to flip the canvas while you're drawing so you can kind of check on kind of the mistakes you have. I think I've talked about that before, but it's always good to do. Something I still forget to do from time to time. But overall, this drawing isn't too bad. I think it definitely has a charm to it. I'm gonna give this I think this is a bit of an improvement over the other ones, so I'm gonna give this a 6.2 out of 10. All right, our next drawing we have is Vision. I think this one definitely has a bit more shading to it. I think I tried having 2 layers of cell shading. I think the gold tones look pretty decent, all things considered. I was still new to digital art, still trying new things, which is good. Now, now again, these hands and feet are insanely huge. In my drawings before this, my proportions were still off, but here they're really off. Yeah, I think ignoring that, it makes the drawing a bit better, but oh my goodness, like, what was I thinking? The pose is kind of cool. I didn't know anatomy super well back then, so it's very wonky. I think I'm gonna give this drawing a 4.9 out of 10. All right, now the next drawing we have here is Wanda, or Scarlet Witch, whatever you want to call her. Again, the proportions are really off here. It looks like she has like no neck. Shading, with both of these drawings, I feel like my shading was getting better. I was trying to put more of a focus on the shading with both of these drawings, but it doesn't save the drawing. Good rendering won't save like a bad drawing. Yeah, I think I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 10. Now, these next drawings was another series I did on my old TikTok account, and this was Luke Skywalker in different art styles. It's kind of similar to what my last video was. So this first one looks like Luke in like Dragon Ball Z style. He's kind of just standing there. He looks like he's like telling his mom that he just threw up in the middle of the night. Overall, this isn't too bad though. I could definitely tell what I was going for. But yeah, overall, I can tell what I was going for. It doesn't look too bad. If you squint, maybe it looks a bit better. I'm gonna give Luke Skywalker here I'm gonna give this Luke Skywalker drawing a 6.1 out of 10. Now, this next style looks like it's in the Fairly Odd Parent style, which I think in my last video I said I never drew in that style, but it looks like I did here, so I guess I lied. But yeah, again, I can tell what I was going for, definitely. It's not too bad. I think I'll give this one a 6.4 out of 10. Alright, this next one it looks like it's in the Tim Burton art style. I love how gritty this is. Yeah, no, I actually really like this one. It's really off-putting, but I mean, that's what Tim Burton's style is supposed to be like, at least I think so. So I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. I think this one was in the Spectacular Spider-Man art style. Not too bad. I think I drew the outfit pretty well. The helmet looks a little off. Like, I think the perspective doesn't quite work there. But no, this is actually pretty solid. I'll give this a 5.9 out of 10. This next one was in the 2003 Clone Wars art style. And yeah, I think this is pretty solid. It's a bit wonky. I use that word a lot, wonky. But yeah, this is pretty solid, I guess. It's not awful. It's not the best. I think I'll give this one a 5.7 out of 10. Alright, now the next drawing we have here, it looks like we have Link from Breath of the Wild. Proportions are, again, super bad in my opinion. Like, I'm sorry, dude. This is not it. I remember being really proud of the colors on this drawing. Giant hands, his head looks really small in this drawing. I don't know, that could just be me. His head is small compared to his hands and like those giant feet. Like, I literally just drew like blobs for feet. Like, I was not trying to draw feet. I draw feet all the time now. No, I'm honestly not a fan of this one. I think I'm gonna give this like a 5.2 out of 10. I'm gonna put up my newer drawing of Link just so that you guys can see that I don't suck at art. Alright, next up we have Steve from Minecraft. Now, I thought it'd be funny to draw Steve in my art style at the time. I mean, I gotta say, this at least looks better than the Minecraft movie.
I am Steve.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 5.5 out of 10. I feel like these are getting worse. Well, hopefully this next one will be a bit better. Alright, this next one, I remember having so much fun with this one. I think the colors look very nice and vibrant in this. The pose is pretty fun, but again, my proportions were still really off. It's not as bad as some of my earlier ones, so that's good. I like how the web kind of like guides you through the image. Overall, this isn't super bad. I think I'll give this a 6 out of 10. Alright, the next drawing we have is Kanan from Star Wars Rebels. This drawing I feel like does have sort of a charm to it. It's definitely not good, but I feel like something about the colors and just the way his dopey face looks, like I feel like this has sort of a charm to it. I don't hate this. I'm gonna give this Kanan drawing a 6.3 out of 10. Next up we have the Falcon. Now I think this is a pretty cool drawing too. I like what I was going for. It does look really stiff. I am seeing a little bit of improvement though, so I'm gonna give this a 6.4 out of 10. I just realized how many drawings I have in this, so I'm gonna try to speed things up here a bit. Next up we have Thor, and I was pretty sure I was like trying something new. I was trying to use like watercolors, not actual watercolors because it's digital. Yeah, this looks super wonky. The colors look really messy, which I guess that's kind of what I was going for. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. Alright, this next drawing is kind of cool. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think the pose for this is really cool. I like that I drew his Clone Wars armor. I think that's a pretty clean outfit. Yeah, not too bad. I'm gonna give this a 6.5 out of 10. Alright, this one's a bit rough. Here I have Iron Man shooting out like these little doodles I drew. I feel like this would work better if I like drew more doodles. I feel like there's not quite enough for what I was going for. I feel like Iron Man looks really stiff and kind of awkward. I'm gonna give this a 5.7 out of 10. Alright, I kind of like this next one. This next one we have is Cyborg. It looks really groovy. I don't know, that's the only word I can think to describe this. I like the colors I did on the background. It looks like I had like some sort of like halftone like in the background. The lighting looks really off. Like it looks like I just like airbrushed it on. I actually remember with this drawing, I was on like an art block for such a long time before this, and I remember doing this and I was like, all right, I'm back in it. I'm gonna give this Cyborg a 6.9 out of 10. All right, next up we have Anakin. I actually kind of like this. I'm gonna give Anakin here a 7.1 out of 10. Next up, we have this Danny Phantom drawing. Something about this is just unsettling. 5 out of 10. Next up, we have Darth Maul. His lightsaber looks huge. Like, how does he walk around with that thing? I'm gonna give this a 6.8 out of 10. Next up, we have the donut riding a skateboard. I think this might be one of my least favorite versions of this drawing. The skateboard looks really like flat compared to where the donut is. It doesn't sit right with me. I feel like the colors look a bit off. I'm gonna give the donut riding a skateboard a 5.8 out of 10. Alright, next up we have Spider-Man. Now this, I think is a pretty... I don't know how to feel about this drawing actually. Like, it's definitely not great. I don't know, like, I just don't know how to feel about this drawing. I'm gonna give Spider-Man here a 5.9 out of 10. Alright, I kind of like this one actually. Looks like we have Sabine Wren from Star Wars. I kind of like this. The pose is kind of cool. The colors look kind of cool in my opinion. Yeah, this actually isn't too bad. I'm gonna give this one a 6.8 out of 10. Alright, next up we have The Thing, and first thing I noticed with this is his dogs are just right out there. Yeah, again, this one is just unsettling to me. Something about my drawings back then just really don't sit right with me now. I'm gonna give The Thing a 4 out of... Let's give him a 4 out of 10 for Fantastic Four.
Say that again?
Alright, next up we have my boy Kid Danger. This is a pretty fun drawing. I like the pose. I think his facial expression is kind of fun. No, this actually isn't too bad. I actually kind of like this. I'm gonna give Kid Danger a 7 out of 10. Alright, next up we have Batman Beyond. You know, this is alright. Never mind. I actually don't like this one too much. His legs look really long compared to, like, his torso. I'm gonna give Batman Beyond a 5.4 out of 10. Alright, now this next one was a superhero I made, actually. His name was Captain Billy. This is a pretty fun drawing. I kind of like what I did with the background. It looks like his shoulder is kind of just, like, melting into his arm, though. I'm going to give this drawing a 6 out of 10. Alright, next up we have, it looks like we have a drawing of me as a superhero, and I was kind of going for like a steampunk design with this. I actually think this is pretty cool. I like the color palette. Yeah, I think this works pretty well. I'm going to give this a 7.2 out of 10. I think this is the best drawing we have so far, so That's good. All right, next up we have Cal Kestis from the Star Wars games. I like this one. The colors look good. I think the room lighting definitely makes the piece a lot better. I kind of like the lighting from the lightsaber going to his face. I think I did pretty good on that. His face looks a little weird if you paid too much attention to it, but I'm going to give this a 6.9 out of 10. All right, next up we have Doc Ock. I feel like there's too much going on in this drawing. Like, it's too cluttered, in my opinion. I couldn't tell what I wanted to do with the background, so I had, like, that stripe behind him. But then I also have, like, a watercolor, like, splotch background. I just don't think that works here. I'm going to give this Doc Ock drawing a 5.7 out of 10. Alright, now I actually kind of like this next drawing. We have the Adam West Batman from like that old TV show. I actually kind of like this. I think the shading looks kind of cool. I did like the double layers of cell shading, and I think the purple like makes it look kind of nice in my opinion. The pose is a bit stiff, but I don't know. I feel like this piece has some charm to it. I tried to add some like foreshortening to his hand, like going like towards the like where the perspective is, but it kind of just like looks like it's to the side, so it kind of just looks like his hand is like growing massive. Oh, this drawing's not too bad. I actually kind of like this. I'm gonna give the Adam West Batman I'm gonna give this a 6.8 out of 10. All right, next up we have this reindeer drawing. I guess I did this around Christmas time of whatever year this was. It's kind of cute. I feel like I will just give this a 6.5 out of 10. Next up we have another Christmas themed drawing. I drew Santa Claus as a Sith Lord. This is really creepy, but I feel like in a good way. I like the colors with this. His lightsaber is huge. And I kind of like shaped it like a candy cane, like the hilt of it. I'm gonna give Santa Claus here a 7 out of 10. Alright, next up we have General Grievous. This is a pretty good drawing actually. I think it flows really well. Unlike with my Doc Ock drawing, I feel like there's not too much going on in this, but it still covers the entire image. I think this is pretty solid. I'm gonna give the General Grievous drawing a 7.2 out of 10. Alright, next up we have Daredevil. I think I was definitely starting to like pick up my game with these last few. I like how he's like mostly shaded and there's like a few hints of lighting like maybe coming from like the background. Overall, I definitely see some improvement here compared to some of the earlier ones. No, this isn't too bad actually. I'm gonna give Daredevil a 7 out of 10. Alright, now this last drawing is a self-portrait of me. It looks like I'm holding a lightsaber and I have my cat Pan on my back. I actually drew this one out on paper first and then I scanned it and put it into Autodesk Sketchbook and then like inked and colored it. Yeah, this is my cat Pan. He doesn't like being held a ton, so hopefully it doesn't scratch my face off. How do you like this drawing? I guess he doesn't like it too much. This is actually pretty okay. I'm gonna give this drawing a 7 out of 10. Well, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys give it a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out.